You are looking at the Amazon rainforest in 2025, but what is actually happening right now is the largest silent extinction of human cultures in modern history. Entire nations that have lived in perfect balance with the planet for over 12,000 years are being wiped out by fire, Mercury, bullets, and a climate system that has been pushed past its limits. The mainstream media feeds you cute pink river dolphins, thrilling giant anaconda encounters, and drone shots of endless green, but they deliberately refuse to show you the images I am about to put in front of your eyes. Indigenous children with chemical burns on their skin, elders sitting in the ashes of their sacred trees, villages completely encircled by walls of flame, and mothers burying babies poisoned by the same rivers that fed their ancestors for centuries. This is the truth they don't want you to see, because if you really see it, you might never look away again. I'm Alex Rivers, lead investigator for Planet Wild, and for the past 7 months, I have been living deep inside the Brazilian Amazon with the Yanomami, the Kayapó, the Munduruku, the Awa, and some of the very last uncontacted peoples still walking the earth. I have slept in malokas with smoke so thick it stings your eyes at noon. I have held children whose hair is falling out from mercury poisoning, and I have stood next to warriors who know they will probably die this year defending the forest that the rest of the world claims to love. What I witnessed is not a tragedy happening somewhere far away. It is the front line of the battle for the lungs of our planet, and we are losing. The 2025 burning season started in May, the earliest on record. By the end of October, Brazil's National Institute for Space Research had registered 212,847 fire hotspots. An area larger than England and Wales combined turned to ash in 5 months. These are not random wildfires. Satellite analysis shows 94% of the fires were deliberately set by humans, cattle ranchers, illegal loggers, land grabbers, and gold miners who burn the forest to clean it, then claim the land as theirs under Brazilian law. The smoke is so dense it has created a permanent haze from Manaus to Sao Paulo, and NASA satellites have tracked it across the Atlantic to West Africa. The Yanomami Indigenous Territory, an area the size of Hungary and Portugal combined, is now home to more than 28,000 illegal gold miners operating for 187 clandestine airstrips. They have turned crystal-clear rivers into open sewers of mercury. A study published in The Lancet in September 2025 found that 92% of Yanomami children under 5 in the most affected regions have mercury levels above whose safety limits. Babies are being born with neurological damage, deformed limbs, and blindness. One mother I lived with for 3 weeks showed me her 8-month-old daughter who has never opened her eyes. The river used to sing to us, she told me. Now the river is dead, and it's killing our children. The Kayapó territory in Para State has become a war zone. In the last 12 months alone, 41 Kayapó warriors have been assassinated by hired gunmen working for logging mafias. Their bodies are often dumped in rivers so no autopsy can be performed. In August 2025, a convoy of 27 logging trucks tried to force its way through a Kayapó blockade. The warriors burned the trucks. 3 days later, gunmen attacked the village at 3 a.m., killing 5 people, including a 12-year-old girl. The police report classified it as conflict between factions. There were no rests. The Munduruku in Para and Amazonas are fighting both mining and the São Luz do Tapajós Dam project that would flood 400 square kilometers of their land. In October 2025, Munduruku women formed a human chain across the Tapajós River to stop barges carrying mining equipment. They were met with tear gas and rubber bullets fired by military police protecting private interests. And then there are the uncontacted peoples, the most vulnerable human beings on Earth. The Awa have only 120 uncontacted members left. Satellite images from Planet Labs in November 2025 show logging roads less than 2 kilometers from their last known locations. The Kawahiva, with fewer than 50 individuals, were filmed in July running naked through the forest, arrows in hand, fleeing chainsaws that were cutting at dawn. FUNA, the agency that is supposed to protect them, has been systematically dismantled. In 2025, it has only 4 functioning frontier posts for the entire country, 4 posts to protect more than 110 confirmed uncontacted groups. Climate change is the invisible accelerant pouring fuel on this genocide. The Amazon is drying at a terrifying pace. A paper published in Nature Climate Change in October 2025 revealed that 2025 was the driest year in the southern Amazon since records began in 1498. Based on Treering data, giant Brazil nut trees that have stood for 800 years are dying of thirst. When they die, They stop transpiring moisture into the atmosphere. Less moisture means less rain. Less rain means longer dry seasons. Longer dry seasons mean more fire. We are racing toward the tipping point where the forest stops generating its own rainfall and begins a death spiral into savanna. The latest models give us until 2031 to 2036 before 50 to 70% of the Amazon becomes irreversibly degraded. That would release 250 billion tons of carbon, more than 6 times the annual global emissions, making the Paris Agreement goals impossible. If your stomach is turning right now, comment the name of one indigenous nation you refuse to let disappear. Yanomami, Kayapó, Munduruku, Awa, Kawahiva, or any of the uncontacted. We at Planet Wild read every single comment and answer as many as we can. And if you want this unfiltered truth to keep reaching millions, smash that subscribe button and the bell right now, because every new subscriber is another voice demanding the world finally pays attention. Let me take you inside the Yanomami community of Makayui in November 2025. 6 months ago, this was primary rainforest so dense you couldn't see 20 meters. Today it is a moonscape of blackened trunks stretching to the horizon. The ground is still hot, under your feet. Children play among ashes wearing rags over their faces because the air tastes of poison. The river that runs beside the village is the color of weak coffee and smells of diesel. Fish float belly up. Women who used to spend 2 hours a day gathering food now walk 8 hours to find anything edible for the first time anyone can remember. The Yanomami are hungry in the middle of the richest ecosystem on Earth. In the Kayapó village of Krimch, 600 kilometers south, warriors paint their bodies black and red every morning because they know today might be the day they die. Since January 2025, 38 invasion attempts have been repelled. The cost, 29 Kayapó dead, 47 wounded. The invaders are backed by politicians who openly say indigenous people are an obstacle to progress. One federal deputy was recorded in July saying, "A good Indian is a dead Indian, or at least one who stays quiet." He still holds office. The Xingu Indigenous Park, home to 16 ethnic groups, and once a global symbol of successful protection, is now an island in a sea of soy and cattle. In 2025 alone, 1,200 square kilometers of surrounding forest were cleared, bringing the deforestation frontier to the park's legal boundary. The rivers inside the park are dying from agrochemical runoff. Fish kills are now monthly events. The Kalapalo, Kuakuro, and Mehinaku people report that children are developing skin rashes and respiratory diseases never seen before. The uncontacted Kawahiva were filmed again in October 2025 by a funny team that managed to reach their area for only the 3rd time in 20 years. The footage shows 7 adults and 3 children running through smoldering forest, carrying burning torches to create fire breaks behind them. They know the loggers are coming. They have nowhere left to run. The science is brutal. A study published in Science Advances in November 2025 found that 2025 fire emissions from the Amazon alone exceeded the entire annual emissions of Japan. The carbon released this year will stay in the atmosphere for centuries, locking in another 0.07 C of warming. That might sound small, but it's enough to push the Amazon past its tipping point. Once that happens, the forest will become a net carbon source instead of a sink, and global temperatures will rise an additional 0.5 to 1 C no matter what we do elsewhere. While all this happens, Brazil is preparing to host COP30 in Belém. Billions will be spent on infrastructure, hotels, and publicity. World leaders will plant symbolic trees and promise hundreds of billions in climate finance. Less than 300 kilometers away, indigenous children will continue breathing air that registers as hazardous on air quality indexes for weeks at a time. The same government that invites the world to talk about saving the Amazon is the one that cut FUNA's budget by 70% since 2019 and passed laws making it easier to mine and log on indigenous land. If you are furious right now, comment "enough is enough" below. Let us flood this section until YouTube has no choice but to push this video to millions more. And share this with someone who still believes the Amazon is too big to fail, because it is failing right now. And the people who have protected it longer than any nation has existed are paying with their lives. You've just seen the ashes. You've seen the children coughing mercury, the warriors bleeding on the ground, the last uncontacted families running naked through fire with nowhere left to hide. Your screen is full of smoke. And I know a lot of you are sitting there right now feeling helpless, angry, maybe even guilty. Good. That feeling is exactly where the real story begins. Because what comes next is the part almost nobody talks about, the moment when everything could still be turned around, but probably won't be unless millions of us decide to stop scrolling and start acting right now. In November 2025, the Brazilian Amazon is at the most dangerous crossroads in its entire history. The fires are still burning. The chainsaws haven't stopped for a single day. The illegal miners are bringing in new equipment by the plane load. And yet, at the exact same time, the world is preparing to land in Belém in less than 3 weeks for COP30, the biggest climate summit ever held in South America. Presidents, CEOs, celebrities, activists, everyone will be there talking about saving the Amazon. They will plant symbolic trees, sign beautiful declarations, and take selfies with indigenous leaders wearing ceremonial headdresses. And for 100 kilometers away, children will keep breathing poison while the cameras look the other way. I want you to understand something that took me months on the ground to fully accept. The people destroying the forest are not evil cartoon villains. They are ordinary businessmen, politicians, and consumers. People who will never see an indigenous child's face, who genuinely believe they are developing the land or simply feeding their families. The gold in your phone or wedding ring, the beef in your burger, the soy in the feed that produced your milk or your tofu, all of it is connected by an invisible pipeline that starts with a bullet in a Kayapó warrior's chest and ends on a supermarket shelf in London, New York, or Berlin. But here's what keeps me awake at night and should keep you awake too. Indigenous territories are the only thing that has ever worked against this machine. When indigenous people have full legal rights to their land, deforestation drops by up to 83%. Fires drop by 71%. Carbon stays in the ground. Biodiversity survives. Oxygen keeps being produced. The climate stays stable. Every single scientific study from the last decade confirms it. Indigenous guardianship is not a romantic idea. It is the most effective conservation strategy humanity has ever discovered, and right now we are letting it be murdered in real time. In the next part, you're going to see exactly what is still possible when the world finally decides to listen. You're going to meet the warriors who are winning impossible battles, the women who are putting their bodies in front of bulldozers, the shamans who are planting millions of trees with their own hands, and the young indigenous activists who are taking their fight to the United Nations and to the streets of Brasilia. You're going to see proof that when indigenous rights are respected and supported, the forest regenerates faster than anyone thought possible. But none of that will matter if we stay silent. So before we go into the final part, I need you to do something right now. While the images are still burning in your mind, look at the comments section. I want you to write one word, just one word, that represents what you are feeling at this exact second. Rage, grief, hope, determination. Whatever it is, type it. Let us flood this section with tens of thousands of real human emotions so the algorithm understands this is not just another nature documentary. This is a cry for survival. And then do one more thing. Share this video with the one person you know who still thinks climate change is abstract, or that indigenous people are part of the past. Send it to the friend who buys cheap gold jewelry, to the cousin who says it's just business, to the parent who thinks someone else will fix it, because someone else won't. You are the someone else. In the final part, you're going to see the real path forward, the solutions that already exist, the victories that almost nobody reports, and the exact actions you can take today that will make a difference tomorrow. You're going to see why the indigenous leaders I live with told me, again and again, we are not fighting for the forest. We are fighting for your children too. But none of that will happen if this story dies here. So pause for 10 seconds, comment your word, share the video, and get ready. Because what comes next is the most important part of all. The moment when despair turns into power. The forest is burning. The guardians are still standing. And the next move is yours. See you in the final part, where hope is not a slogan, it's a plan. If these peoples are extinguished, the Amazon loses its most effective defenders. Research published by the World Bank and RAISG in 2025 shows that indigenous territories with full legal recognition suffer 83% less deforestation and 71% fewer fires than any other land category, including national parks. When indigenous guardians are strong, the forest is nearly impenetrable. When they are removed, the forest falls in months. In 2025, we still have a rapidly closing window. The Yanomami need the immediate and permanent removal of 28,000 illegal miners and the restoration of military protection that actually works. The Kayapó need the final demarcation of 7 territories that have been in process for over 20 years. The uncontacted need the world to stop buying the products that finance their extermination. Conflict gold, conflict beef, conflict soy. You can act today. Contact your government to demand bans on imports from deforested indigenous lands. Support indigenous-led organizations like COIAB, APIB, and the Articulation of Indigenous Peoples of Brazil. Demand that COP30 includes indigenous leaders at every decision-making table with veto power, not just as photo props. Next week I return to Kayapó territory with Chief Raoni Medictyre and the Planet Wild team to document their stand against the Faragro Railway that would cut the heart out of their land. If this video reaches 2 million views, we will release the full 4-hour uncensored documentary shot on the front line, including drone footage of active invasions and the moments we came under fire. Comment release the full cut if you want it the second it's ready. These peoples are not relics of the past. They are the only proven model of how to live sustainably on this planet for thousands of years. A Kayapó warrior told me, "You think you are saving the forest for us. We are saving the forest for you." A Yanomami shaman added, "When the last of us falls, the sky will fall with us." This is the truth the system desperately doesn't want you to see, because real awareness leads to real action, and real action threatens trillions in profits. If this video shook you to your core, do 5 things right now. Comment the name of one indigenous nation you will carry in your heart forever. Hit like and share this video with everyone who needs to wake up. Subscribe to Planet Wild and turn on the bell. We are risking our lives to keep exposing this. Tag 3 friends below who need to see this today. Commit to 1 action this week. Write to your representative. Donate to an indigenous organization, or simply never stay silent again. The forest is burning. Its last guardians are fighting with everything they have. The choice is ours, and the time is now. See you on the front line.